Tell me who that is.
That is my grandfather, and he served in the House of Lords.
Are you worthy of your ancestors, Basil?
Basil, as a young child, is an innocent. He's kind of someone that's just hungry for love.
There is a little girl who's going to be living with us.
Roar!
Clara's the best friend, the sister he always wanted, and there's a little bit more. I mean, mentally, she's probably the perfect woman for Basil.
When you're so well bred, and you've had imposed upon you since that high, since you were 5 years old, what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. You have to kind of hide, repress anything that would be remotely wild.
You are a silly, inexperienced girl, Clara. It is clear you have never been kissed by a man before, nor are you likely to be in the future.
My name is John Mannion, sir.
I am grateful to you, Mr. Mannion.
John.
And I am Basil to you.
The character of John Mannion has a lot of bitterness against the upper class. So he doesn't really look upon it as something he respects or admires. I mean, he really sort of resents, I think, Basil's father, Derek Jacobi.
I thank you, sir. It was a very brave thing you did.
It was only human, sir.
Can we offer you a room for the night?
Oh, thank you, sir, but I have a room at the Village Inn.
Well, there goes a man who knows his place. He did a good deed, but refused to take advantage of it. What kind of a man is that, I wonder?
A gentleman, sir.
Basil doesn't have any friends to speak of, really. He's a person that's just not social, due to how he was raised. So John Mannion is kind of just represents this freedom, the outside world, new experience, and passion, and just kind of looseness.
Once you've done it a couple of times, you wonder what the fuss was all about. We're very close. I'm sort of his confidant. I'm helping him to get involved with this girl, Julia Sherwin, Claire Forlani. So I guess in a way I'm sort of the older brother.
She's sort of an original for that time. She sort of defies, the rules and the regulations and the social etiquettes of that time. She's in a way kind of a bohemian, very free and expressive, and she's a rebel. She's a female rebel, which in the early 19th century is quite rare. Well?
Well, what?
Well, nothing.
Julia Sherwin's almost like a fantasy for Basil. She's nothing he's ever seen before. None of the, she's not wearing clothes up to her neck and down to her ankles and all restrained and tied in. She's very loose and sensual and magnetic and just probably nothing he's even ever dreamed of before.
I do not want to lose Julia.
Forget Julia Sherwin and flee, Basil.
I would like you to marry Julia straight away. We cannot let your good father hear of it, or he will cut you off from your inheritance immediately.
I know I have disappointed you, sir.
I'll wash my hands of him. He is not my son.
Well, it's highly charged erotically and sexually, and if the novel had any of that in it, I'm sure it would have caused quite a fracas and some raised eyebrows.
Not inside a house, though, isn't it?
I liked the fact that Basil is not one of Wilkie Collins's better-known books, because then it gives me, as a writer, free hand in adapting it. I was actually looking to do something that was Gothic and Victorian, that dealt with strong emotions. But I was also looking to do something that would be able to cross over to a new generation, new times, new cultures, and that sort of thing. And I wanted something that wouldn't be so stilted and so stuffy, that it would start to reek of costume drama, which has been done to death.
It's wonderful doing a film like this because it really is about character so much. This, to me, really feels like I'm kind of getting back to what I originally started out doing, which was acting.
Christian is no longer what we saw in Name of the Rose. And there's a gravity and a certain maturity, a gravitas to him now, and he wants to bring that to screen. And so he wanted the part of John, and, you know, so he attached himself to the project.
This is a guy who's made, 20-something films probably, and he's only a couple of years older than me. And I learned a lot from a guy like him because he's done it. He knows how to do it. It's like playing tennis. The better someone is opposite you, the better you are usually. In a sense, the film's a mystery, and I think it was Rada that came up with Gothic thriller.
In terms of themes, Gothic, I think, to me, refers to the darker side of human nature. Take the very extreme side of human nature, how dark it can get, dark passions, hidden secrets, and Basil is replete with that.
There's so many twists and turns in the story, and it's really a great story about revenge and betrayal and that sort of thing.